Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Friday, September 22nd. We're going to take a look at SoFi today. So as we've grown accustomed to over the years, SoFi has been recently in a pretty vicious downturn. So let's take a look at the Weeble chart here. There's a bunch of levels to leave behind for now. We're in a big gap, so we have some levels to fill in, and then we'll flip over to the Think or Swim study, see where things are situated there, and call it a video. So we see kicking off on the 18th of September, so just a few days ago. We had a down 4% day, and then pretty flat day, down over 3%, down over 4%, and then today down over 5%. So just like I say, as we've grown accustomed to, this seems to be the theme with SoFi. So what I want to do is see where it's put in a bunch of price action between 666. It's a very appropriate level to have in. Up to about $8 and see what we can capture and sort of plot out for ourselves. So I'm going to go off of this price action here because I think there's a little bit more activity in and through those areas than we see in the other bumps through those levels. So I'm going to stick them in here, and then we're going to scroll back right, see how the levels hold up based on current price action, and then we'll zoom into the intraday and once again just sort of stress test them a little bit, see how the levels hold up when we zoom in, because it's you're just going to give yourself a headache not only by I'm sorry, I'm obviously feeling sarcastic today, but I was going to say not only by investing in SoFi, but also if you just sort of live off of this daily chart, because it is so cluttered at the moment. But the purpose here is to be able to zoom in and get some good levels that way. So sorry if you're not in the mood for the morbid jokes, but it just seems to be where I am at the moment. So let's see if there's anything in between here. Yeah, right about there. Okay, so there's a bunch of levels. So let's get back to where we are, and we'll see sort of how this looks. Sorry if that just made you throw up. On the daily. So we see tried to push through today this 798 level. That was already on the chart. And then everything between that 798 and the 666 is new. So let's zoom in and see how that held up intraday today. Okay, so if we had had these levels in intraday today, we would have said, okay, it was coming in, trying to, basically battle that 810 level, lost that battle immediately at open, and then just flowed right through that $8 level. So we have 798, but psychologically it's probably $8. Just not even a glimmer of hope of catching support there, and didn't even come back to retest it and then shove off. It just came straight down. And let's see, was this to the penny? Yep, to the penny. Hit that 769 level. We just put that in. Tried to build off of that briefly, came down, confirmed it as resistance, and then pinned itself down to the 753 level and wrestled with that basically into close. A brief dip down to 744 there, but quickly recovered just on one candle. So these levels holding up pretty solid intraday, and we'll see if it continues to put in price action between $8 to the upside, 666 to the downside. At least we will have some levels plotted to be able to pay attention to and see what the price action does when it gets there. So those levels, just to be clear, and that we just put in, we still have a pretty big gap here, percentage-wise at least, from 798 down to 769. So if some things start to take shape there, we can add them in. There's probably something here around 789, but I don't know that we need to pin that there at the moment. Let me see. Let me just look at something here. What's this? Come on, Weeble. Come on. Keeps erasing it. Okay. Yeah, we'll come back and readdress it if we need to. But these levels, 769, 753, 738, is that what that is? 738, 726, 714, 704. Okay. And so on and so forth. We have a 687 there as well before we get to the 666. So those levels, as I see it, like I say, you can see the gap here, right? And you see there's a level for sure here, right about 786, 789, something like that. But we can hold tight and sort of make the price come back to us before we worry too much about putting in a level there. But I will just make a verbal note of it at the moment. 786-ish, I would say there's a level there as well. Think or swim side of things, this is still on the daily chart. Channel, we push through to the upside here, and what do we always say when we see it leaving the channel? We look for it to come back and retest the mid-range and see what it does. Comes back, retests mid-range, holds nicely, so another nice push up out the channel again. And then this time when it tested the mid-range though, what happened? Immediately flipped it to resistance, and what did that result in? A push through after several days to the lower bound of the channel, retested the mid-range, just sort of fought with it several days, lost it a few days ago, and then that resulted in a push through the lower bound of the channel today. You see this is also the 180 to 200 EMA cloud. That's that grayish area here. It's battling with support on that as well at the moment too. So something to sort of at least be aware of is not only is it out the bottom of the channel, but it is trying to get support over that 180 to 200 EMA cloud, and if it can't, that will flip it not just as the channel goes in a downtrend, but that will flip it to being considered in an overall on the daily downtrend. But as of now, based on that criteria, it's just sort of waiting, TBD, if you will. TTM squeeze indicator, not really much of anything. There was a brief fire and trigger, or trigger and fire here. Boy, you can tell it's Friday, huh? There's a brief trigger and a fire here, but I don't know if there's more move to be had or if that was the totality of the move. It's just one trigger candle, so it's sort of hard to take it too seriously. That said, it was preceded by these trigger candles that fired and nothing really happened. So sometimes there's a trigger and a fire that are basically like sideways, and then a new trigger and a fire, and that second motion on the indicator is where the real price action actually starts to take shape and plays out what the indicator is pronouncing. So we'll see if that's the case here or not. But what I'm going to look for in the coming days, if it continues to move down, sort of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it would be out the bottom of the channel, and I'd be waiting and just waiting for it to start to make a motion to see when it's going to come and retest the mid-range of the channel. So at least, that could give an opportunity to look for a counter trend move, even if it then resumes its downtrend. However, while I would expect that motion based on it being out of the channel, this being underneath the EMA cloud is going to, give me a little bit of pause, because that resistance could be additionally sticky or challenging as it works its way through. I mean, luckily the cloud is not that pronounced. It's pretty thin, and so maybe it won't provide much resistance at all. If that's the case, it's likely that it's not going to provide much support on the way down either. So we will see in the coming days if it provides any support or not, and then that might give us an indication of if we're going to plop out of the channel, maybe give a good counter trend opportunity, or if it's going to be able to hold, and then we'll sort of have to see where it wants to make a decision based on that. All right, folks, I hope that you had a good trading week and that you enjoy your weekend. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.